PHPUgly is going live. There we go.
Wait, what?
We are live. Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
All right.
One, two, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
You're listening to episode 278 of PHPUgly. On this day of holiness for Tom Rideout, St. Patty's Day. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
Tom, happy St. Patty's Day to you.
And Tom Rideout.
I'm not sure why I'm getting singled out on this.
I'm pretty sure this is your holy day, Tom.
No.
Are you sure?
No.
We have an exciting show. If you're a member of our Patreon group, you got to see several of John's failed suicide attempts. We'll talk about that. We have a drawing for a new Raspberry Pi. We're going to talk about that. And so much more.
And and I get to continue being labeled as a what did they call me? A hippie. Look what I'm drinking.
You're a hipster.
I'm a hipster.
IPA.
Green tea.
Japanese
Jesus,
green
man.
tea IPA.
At least it's Stone Brewing.
My wife found this. It's 10.1%.
How can it be Stone if it's Japanese? Does Stone have a brewery in Japan?
Must. They do now, I guess.
It's about as Japanese as I am Irish.
It's not great, but if you want to get hammered quick, 10.1%, you're good to go.
That'll do it, huh?
Yeah, they call it the podcast crusher.
Get a few of those. Just strap a sheet to my back. I'm ready to go, Captain.
Oh
yes,
boy.
I did share some pictures with our patrons. And I'm so happy my father-in-law came out to see my first flights and take some pictures and video for me. I was surprised by it, but very happy that he did.
Yeah, you look like you had a good time. Except you look like you were sweating balls coming back up that cliff. So if you don't know, the paragliding place here in San Diego is absolutely gorgeous. If you know where the Torrey Pines golf course is, it's just south of that. and you literally walk off this huge cliff over the Pacific Ocean. I mean, it couldn't be scripted better in a movie the way this is. The problem is, I'll let John explain the leveling up you have to do as paraglider.
Yeah, so I'm going through the training process, and they want to keep you away from danger, so they keep you away from the cliffs. Unfortunately, being by the cliffs is how you get the lift to stay up. So when you're better, you kind of you coast up and down the ridge, and you can go all the way south to some huge mansions, gorgeous properties, and you can go all the way north past or right around the golf course. So during the you can see them on the telecast for some of the big golf events. The paragliders just kind of floating around. But being where I'm at, they're like, get away from the cliff, and we're just going to have you do some turns. You land 350 feet down below on the beach, and it's a nude beach. So you see a whole lot of
important element not being discussed.
Well, there's a lot of things pointing you in the right direction to get back up the cliff, right? I mean, that's all it is. It's a safety thing.
Like,
airports have those sticks, those cones to help people land. It's kind of like that, but nastier.
I'm so glad you brought it in that direction.
The funny part is, my father-in-law on my second flight meets me down there. I have no clue he's going to do this. He walks down all the way down to the beach. He's taking pictures of me. He's taking pictures of like the scenery and the cliffs. And later on, I'm talking like, so what'd you think about seeing all those naked guys around? He's like, I didn't see any naked guys. I'm like, how'd you not see any? They're all over the place. I saw like probably 30 guys, one woman the entire time I was down there.
Listen, dick blindness is a real thing. You need to be sympathetic towards him.
The funny thing is, I take the pictures off his phone later, and that's what ended up getting uploaded to Patreon.
Yeah, 500 dick pics just zoomed straight in.
But I didn't see any click, 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 click.
Had to go back home to get the better lens.
It's a big faux pas to take pictures down on a nude beach, just in general. So I'm sure your dad wasn't the most liked person at that time.
I mean, don't build a nude beach below an
extreme. I hate it when they do that to me. I'm like, come on, just try to tan.
The funny part is, on my third flight, later in the afternoon, my wife shows up with my kids, surprise me. They're there. They see my third flight. I pack up my glider. I'm walking back with somebody else. I see my wife and kids down on the beach. She completely forgot what was down there.
And hug your dad. John's down there. No, stay up there. Don't come down here.
My pants fell off while I was flying.
She missed it. Like, she got down to the bottom of the stairs and then walked straight out to the water with the kids, and then realized what was going on. She's like, uh-oh. And later on, the kids are like, Mommy, that guy didn't have any pants on. Yeah, honey, that's just the way it is here.
Sometimes, kids, when a man is very lonely, he convinces himself that this is a good idea. And at the bottom of the paragliding, there's a nude beach.
On my second flight, I land on the beach, and I'm not near anybody. Like, I know enough to get past people, but I land, and where my chute comes down is right next to this chair and some beach stuff. And all of a sudden, here comes this guy walking up to his stuff, making sure I didn't mess it up. I'm like, oh, sorry, let me get out of your way here, as I'm looking just at my glider, trying to pull it away.
What you don't ever want to do, John, is ask one of them what the time is, because then they just lay down and start looking for the sun. It's terrifying. You don't want to do that. Just trust me.
Also, John misunderstood the situation. The guy walked up and said, "See anything you like?" And John was like, No, I'm not taking any of your stuff. Don't worry. I'm just paragliding.
Oh, it was great. Such a blast.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, I had so much fun that I ended up buying my own equipment on Sunday. So now I got my own harness, my own wing, my own reserve chute, ready to go.
Couple of weeks, that'll be stacked right there under his 3D printer. That was such a good idea at the time he purchased it.
Well, I'm sure it cost a little bit more than a 3D printer.
Not much.
That's true. You
Man.
did buy the nicest 3D printer.
Yeah.
How about you, Tom? How's your week?
Oh man, I just hate APIs. Just hate them.
Well, especially as much as you spend on them.
Yeah. I had an API integration this week that generates a report that you're supposed to be able to like download. But if you hit the endpoint too soon, it says, "Hey, the report's not ready. Try again later." And it's an XML message that has a status code 203, which is no data.
203.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, naturally I think, well, okay, if I check the status code of the request when I make it, then I can just push it back on the queue when it's a 203. Nope. No, that page returns a 200 status code.
You have to look in the body.
In the text in the body of 203, which means this request will not have a body. I hate APIs so much. So much. And this
you don't hate
API.
You hate API developers. Focus your anger.
Yeah,
really is
I've
the
been
worst.
there. I've done that. I'm like, I'll just return the status in the body. It's fine. I mean,
it seems
I
like
know-
a good idea.
I know better nowadays, but
It's not. It's not ever a good idea. You're not supposed to do it. Don't do it. I hate it.
Kind of good idea.
And if you do it, I hate you for doing it.
well, the reasoning was, hey, I'm giving you a response. It's okay. I gave you a response. The status is there. Go get it.
The whole system exists for the purpose.
Okay, but they have documentation. Doesn't their documentation say, hey,
Does
we're going
not
to give you a
does not
200?
have this instance. The documentation does not cover the "we are not prepared for your request" XML response.
That sounds
it?
like such a nightmare.
I mean, I just wonder, like, who is this asshole who's like, yeah, it's probably good enough. They're only going to see this every time they make a request instead of the data that we told them they're going to get, right? He's probably running it on his local machine. He's like, I never got the message, right? He's like, well, yeah, you're mocking the whole XML object. You're just returning it immediately. So, yeah, never got that message. I'll build a use case in case it ever happens, but I won't document that because that'll make people expect it. So I've been dealing with a lot of that.
So I'm going to interrupt you. We have some great title suggestions in Discord already. So again, as usual, if you're not with us in Discord, please join us. Discord.phpugly.com. Submit titles for the show using hashtag or bang title and then whatever you want the title to be. It's so much fun in there.
It is. It's been keeping me busy. The Doom and Gloom channel is just awful. I'm so glad we have a special channel just for that.
I meant to share some doom and gloom with you guys. Or I actually meant to share it with you, Thomas. I should have just thrown it in Discord. All right, we'll get to it, I guess. Wait, I already said how's your week, Thomas, and you bitched about APIs.
Yeah, I mean that's basically I didn't do anything spectacular like watch the Batman or go see Harry Mack.
Yeah, so let's hear about that.
Or like a baseball game, which I'm sure you also did this week.
Batman was awesome. Batman was pretty good. It was like
I heard it's
98
awesome or pretty good.
It was 98% Batman and about 2% Bruce Wayne. So it's like it was a perfect mixture of Batman, Bruce Wayne. It was good. No, it was very good. It was dark. I mean, it's like every iteration of
theaters,
Batman,
they usually keep them pretty dark.
every iteration of Batman, they're like, let's see if we can make this one like darker than the last one. And this pretty much did it. Very it's about Batman's early years. This is like the second year he's been Batman. So he's not polished. He's still figuring things out. He's making mistakes. So it was good. I enjoyed it. But I'm a bad person to ask. Of course, I'm going to like it. So
this early years of Batman thing though drives me nuts because like canonically, like there have been 3 comic series that covered the early years of Batman, but there have been like 20 that covered the late years of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And there hasn't been a like old Batman movie. There have been like
Ben
5.
Ben Affleck was the old Batman. Ben Affleck played Batman when he
forgot that happened.
Didn't want to do it anymore, but he was kind of being pulled back into it.
Yeah,
JLA whole Godfathers thing. Yeah,
I'm talking older than that. When he's got the Bat bots that patrol the city.
Yeah, I don't know to tell you, man. I you can give me all the Batman you want. I'll take it. Early, late, whatever. Batman Beyond. I hear there's some rumblings about doing a Batman Beyond. It's all good to me. But I do want to move on to Harry Mack. So the movie was 3 hours long. The theater was across from the auditorium where Harry Mack was performing. So we literally come out of one door and walk into the other door. And we get out of the movie at 5:00. Harry Mack doesn't start until 7. They say doors open at 5:30. So, Beck's with me. My wife's with me. I'm like, yeah, we got some time. I don't know if we're going to try to get something to eat before the show or if we're going to eat there. I was like, all right, let's get out of the theater and see, what it is.
The line around the building.
Oh my God. I'm like, all these people can't be to see Harry Mack. It's like the first thing, that place can't be that big. And I mean, I know he's like kind of popular, but is he this popular? So sure enough, it was the line.
You were in LA, weren't you?
Just outside in Riverside, so just outside of LA.
There's just been a lot of homeless people.
So we get in line. Now Beck has seen Harry Mack. Obviously, she's seen the show. She understands who he is. She watched a few of the videos. And I was telling her, I'm like, my expectation, I'm not sure what to expect because I know the guy's got skills, but like I've only seen his YouTube stuff. The YouTube stuff, you're like cherry picking your best performances, right? You're not just so like I'm thinking
he live streams for like 15 hours. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm thinking like this guy isn't going to be that good in a live performance because it's dark. It's like he's not going to be that good. Oh my God. He just blew the roof off the place. I mean, I don't know who I was questioning. I mean, he just blew the roof off. It was much better than I expected. And I had set my expectations a little high, but I thought I was being reasonable with how high I was setting them. And if you have an opportunity to see Harry Mack perform in person, please do it. Please do it. You'll thank me later. I'm okay with that. It was packed. It was crowded. I mean, I'm still freaked out a little bit about the whole, we're out of the pandemic, right?
Yeah,
we're in this place shoulder to shoulder, sitting in our chairs, and 95% of the people aren't wearing masks, and so it's uncomfortable. But man, did I have a good time! It was a really, really good time. So thank you, Harry Mack.
Did he recognize you and pull you up on stage and say like, "Hey"?
He pointed at me. He gave me one of these points. I'm like, "Yep, I'm that guy who kickstarted your career."
That's right. When we put his video on our intro, that was his rocket to the top.
I saw a graph, and you're not too far off. It's like a couple months after he did our thing. Is like, I guess in the last year, I think the statistic was in the last year. So leading up to the beginning of 2021, he had accumulated like 700,000 followers on YouTube. And then between 2021 and 2022, he gained another 1 million. So he had surpassed his original 700,000, however long it took him to get there, and added to it. So by the end of, I think now he's at like almost 2 million people on YouTube, and he just rocketed because
I think that's the whole thing. Is
I'm taking credit for it.
I think that's the whole thing is you start off slow and then people start sharing it, which By the way, if you're watching us, click the subscribe, the like, and the share button.
Yeah,
Help
what
us
the
out.
hell? We give Harry Mack his big push to fame, and we can't get 550 followers on YouTube. What the hell?
Does that say 549 behind you?
549, yeah, 549.
See,
someone hit like now.
We're closer to 1 million than PewDiePie is.
Huh?
Because he's well over like millions.
Like 30 million. Yeah.
Oh,
he's like 29 million away from 1 million subscribers. We're only 1 million away.
I like how you think. I like it. Zombie Slayer in Discord. How long have we been going? How long? 5 years? 6 years?
No, it's longer than that. Jeez, it's got to be 6 or 7.
6 or 7? Yeah.
I don't know. 277 divided by 51.
No, because we weren't consistent the first. I mean, we can just go to phpugly.com and see when the first one was released. I'll do that. You guys carry the show.
Could. Tom's the only one with stuff on his Trello board because
yeah, I'm stocked up. I'm ready.
You ready? I got something for you, Tom. I'll post it in there now, and we can talk about it a little bit. Let me find it. I will find it. I'm buying time here. I'm buying time. Time's being bought. Time has been bought. Have you seen the exploit in Spotty's package? Do you have this on your list? You may even have it on your list.
I don't have it on my list. It's an interesting exploit, and it wouldn't be wrong to call this just a configuration thing because it's configured. The Media Upload Pro library, not the standard Media Upload library that's free, but the paid version has a sort of a temp endpoint that you can upload data to. And out of the box, that temp endpoint does not have authorization around it. And there's just sort of not information on how to set that up correctly or that it's there. So it is kind of a thing, kind of not a thing. It's not necessarily a bug, but it is an oversight.
So this is when you install the package, you have to set the permissions. Is that the deal? Or you have to set the...
You don't have to, which is the issue.
Right. That's what I mean. You should be setting it. It's not a required step.
Right.
And they don't give you sane defaults.
Right.
But you still got to get... I don't know anything about this library. I'm assuming you somehow have to get something malicious into the directory to make it vulnerable anyway.
Yeah, so this is not like a RCE, like a remote command execution. This is just you can upload files. What? You could upload an executable and somebody could see it and run it. So
okay, so I'm going to interrupt you. Zombie Slayer, to answer your question, and ironically enough, we missed our anniversary by 2 days. Our first episode was released March 15th in 2016. So 6 years, you're right. Yeah. So
happy anniversary, guys.
Today. Yeah. Right? That's cool.
Back in the days when we didn't do Thursday night every night. And then we got cornered into it with Harry Mack.
Now we're committed.
You go.
So yeah.
Joe Ferguson is saying that the commentary on Reddit around that bug is bad.
Oh, hey, Joe, can you share the Reddit link? I don't think I had that. I just shared the direct link to the CVE. Reddit. So I had a good week, a fun week. Speaking of spotty, speaking of enums, I'm working with a client who wanted to convert their code base. They've been using the spotty enum package for years, and they wanted to convert their code base over to the PHP native enum stuff. So I've been doing that, and it turns out that there were some caveats that were missing with enums, the native enums. And I was talking to a friend of mine about it. He's like, you know what? I bet you I could write a package for that. And I'm like, yeah, man, you should. I think it would be cool. And he wrote a little enum package. Matter of fact, I'll find the link to that because I'm actually helped him with that. He gave me credit. He gave me some credit on that. And I actually have a PR open to him that I'm still working on tonight. I told him not to merge it because I need to fix a few things, but I will. I'll add that. It's.
I'm curious what was missing.
So the way the spotty package was configured or was implemented, you had this option where you could say, "Hey, give me an array of all the values of my enums," and there's no way of doing that with the native API calls. So you can't just say, "Hey, I have this enum class. Give me all the values that are in that enum as an array." There's not an option. So he wrote a little script, and then it turns out there's a few other things like what I'm contributing today was I had the body package had validation, right, where you could validate against an enum, and I was my friend who created this package, I was talking to him about it. He's like, I suppose I could do something like that, but I don't really want validation. He's like, I'd rather have a method where you just ask if a value is a valid value for that enum, and then you get a Boolean true or false. So you would say, hey, is the value foo a valid value for this enum, and you get back true or false. So that's actually what I'm contributing now. I did one iteration of it and then decided to do another iteration. So I told him to hold on to my PR. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, and now I'm seeing like all these. I'm seeing all these PRs. I'm seeing all these enum packages on like Laravel News. Like every day, there's a new enum package in there. But
so
whatever.
What's your buddy Jose? You forgot that part.
That's what I said.
What's the benefit of moving away from the spotty package then? I know you're using the built-in enums, but if you're replicating a lot of the behavior anyway, what's the benefit?
No, it's not replicating a lot of behavior. It's actually very, very little behavior, and it's very the native enum is so much cleaner, such a cleaner implementation.
Cool.
So I like it. I like it more personally. But I say that I didn't do a lot of work with the spotty package either. But I know what I'm ripping out and what I'm replacing it with, and it's much cleaner. I feel like it's much cleaner with the native enums.
So what happened with your testing? You were supposed to be looking into pest more. Are you still doing that, or are you?
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, he told me this maintainer told me not to even submit a PR unless I have tests for it. I'm like, all right, man, that's fair. I can do that. Not a problem. So I think that client is going to. We had some back and forth on pest, and I even told him I even pimped the PHP architect. I'm like, hey, I talked to Sebastian, the maintainer of PHP Unit, and he was very happy with pest. He loved the fact that pest was built on top of PHP Unit. It didn't try to recreate PHP Unit. So I had some back and forth. I'm like, what is it about pest that you're looking to use rather than PHP Unit? And he said, at first he's like, pest is just more Laravel centric, and this client is Laravel heavy. So I mean, you can't argue with that. It's actually right. I mean, I almost look at PES as almost a wrapper, a PHP unit wrapper for Laravel. But for whatever reason, he recently came back and said, you know what? I reconsidered what our conversation. I think you're right. I think, I'm going to go ahead and lean more towards PHP unit, but leave the door open for PES test too. He basically said, I just want test coverage. So whatever the developers are more comfortable doing, but I see there's not that much of a difference between PES and PHP unit. There's just not a lot of ground there to make up. So he kind of likes the idea of leaning more on PHP unit. So I think that's what we're going to end up doing.
Any test is better than no tests. That is for sure.
Well, actually, that reminded me, I've got a little bit of testing news. One of my coworkers has been working on speeding up our test suite and running it in parallel. Now we've got it down to about 5 minutes, which is pretty impressive for how many tests we're running. But Docker tweeted out today that their new desktop 4.6 has a big performance improvement feature that's in beta. That's VIRTIOFS.
Is it for Mac, are you talking about?
Yes.
Docker desktop for Mac. Okay.
Yeah. Which has always been an issue. Docker for Mac is a bit slow.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So the only thing is, for this, I had to upgrade to Monterey. So I'm now on 12.3. And then I got the whole thing running. I enabled the new virtualization for OS X, which is no longer beta, I guess. And then enabled the new file system thing. And boy, did it ever lock up my computer hard. Running the tests in parallel, it would get to a certain point and then just die hard, and I would have to reboot the system to get Docker back up. So still a beta product. However, using the new Monterey virtualization driver, I did get about a 60% improvement in performance. So I went down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds from 5 minutes and 10 seconds. So that's not a bad improvement on its own.
Have you used it for not just for tests, but for browsing your development environment? Is it any faster there?
I don't really browse my development environment. It's everything I do is, since I'm just purely API driven work, everything I do is just tests.
Gotcha.
I do basically DDD, where I write out the test and then start hitting it as if it were a browser. So I can't really say that there's any difference there. Especially since our front end system is compiled. So the back end it's just you don't see responsiveness issues really. But yeah, good improvement.
Have we talked about that? What do you mean it's compiled?
It's Vue.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's
I was about to ask the same question. I'm like, you're compiling your code?
Well, the way that Vue compiles, I mean, it takes 500 files and makes one JS file out of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good improvement. I'm happy with it.
I'm really interested to hear from people that are using it in our environment then, if they've upgraded and seen any improvement. Because I've been working with developers lately that are on Mac and just remembering back to the days when I was using it and how terrible it is.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be so bad right now.
I thought I just saw a story come across about how actually right here, Monterey 12.3 update working Macs that have had logic board replacements. I didn't read this because I don't have a Mac and I just don't care. But this is an article that was sent to me today. I'm adding it to the board now. There you go. Bing, bada, boom. Like I said, I didn't even read the article because I just didn't care.
So, Tom, you said your tests are running 5 minutes. How many tests do you have?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
I was just curious. I'm looking at our test suite. It takes 6.5 minutes to run. It's 30,000 tests.
Look at that bruise, dude.
So I've got 3,172 tests and 13,000 assertions.
Oh, I've got 29,000 tests, 103,000 assertions.
Yeah, so you're running a few more tests than I am.
I was curious about timing because we're always complaining that the tests are taking so long to run. So it wasn't necessarily about total number of tests as much as
aren't you targeting like 90% code coverage though, or something like that?
No, we're at like 15% code coverage. Targeting?
Right. Sounds like
targeting.
Yeah. Sounds like you just need to rewrite your code. Start from scratch.
There you go.
Who was this asshole that made this in the first place?
That's the answer to everything.
God, could you imagine if they merged all your PRs too? Another 100,000 tests.
That'd be a nightmare. I was looking through some of my old branches that I haven't deleted from like 7 or 8 years ago, and they're like 50,000 commits behind. I was like, I think it's safe to delete this one now. I probably don't need this branch anymore.
Now, are those all unit tests, or are you doing unit and feature tests?
Oh, I only do unit tests, but back 7 years ago, I wasn't doing any tests.
Well, so that's the thing is that I'm doing.
As I was about to say, you know, I don't worry about tests. I don't run tests. You know why? Because when something goes wrong in my environment, I know about it. Thanks to our sponsor, Honey Badger.
When you're in production, 1,000 things can go wrong. You could deploy a bug in your latest release. Your background jobs can silently fail. Someone could trip over the network cable at your data center, and this all comes back to you. You need to know when bad things happen and be able to respond to them quickly. That's why we built Honey Badger. It's easy to install Honey Badger in your back-end applications and front-end JavaScript. It only takes a few minutes of configuration and you'll have monitoring done. That's because we hook into popular web frameworks, job systems, and the browser, so that when any of them crash, we can automatically let you know. We ping your application from our global fleet of servers to let you know about problems with connectivity, latency, and SSL certificates, and we monitor your recurring jobs to see if any of them stop recurring. When there's a problem, we alert your team using the tools you already use. We can create issues in GitHub, Jira, and other issue trackers, and send notifications via Slack, PagerDuty, or other channels. When you click through, you'll be taken to detailed information on the error. You'll see things like request parameters, headers, user information, and the backtrace. Click on any line of the backtrace to view it in GitHub, Bitbucket, or your local editor. When you fix a problem, just mark it resolved and follow up with the affected user. That's Honey Badger. We're the monitoring tool for web developers who'd rather be, well, developing.
Thanks, Honey Badger.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
All right, can you two carry the rest of the show? I want to read more about my wing.
Yeah, once you put the PHPUgly logo on it, then you can do that.
Yeah, he'll definitely crash.
That's what I was going to put on.
I got a funny story to share with y'all. I think it's funny, but you know, I rarely use my phone as a phone. It's really just like a portable device, and even within the family, like. If my wife calls me, I'm freaking out because there's a problem if she's calling me. Everything is usually a text message. And, on your phones, you get the little preview of a text message. My wife recently I'm driving down the road and I look over, I hear the buzz, and I look over and I see the little preview pop up. It says, somebody just broke into our front door. I'm like, what the hell? And so I'm on the freeway. I'm like pulling off. I'm debating if I want to pull off, if I just want to get home, because I'm like, I'm already heading home. I'm like, let me just, see if everybody's okay. And I'm pulling off. And she's sending me a story from a person in a neighboring neighborhood. And she sends me, it's this whole story. And then at the bottom, she goes, hey, do you know where this neighborhood is? I'm like, what is wrong with you? A couple of days
I think I passed it at 100 miles an hour.
A couple of days later, at the Harry Mack concert, I get a message from my sister. We're in the Harry Mack concert. I see it. It says, hey, bro, just checking in on you, seeing how things are going. Hope all is good with the house. I'm like, okay. We call each other every weekend. This was Sunday. I didn't call her in the morning, so I'd forgotten to call her. So she was just probably calling me. And I'm sorry, it wasn't a text message. It was a voicemail. So she's probably calling me. So I'll call her back later. And obviously we get out of the concert late, and I totally forget about the voicemail. Monday comes and goes. Tuesday, I look down. I'm like, oh, crap. I got that voicemail from my sister, and I forgot to call her. And I go to listen to it, and it's this voicemail of, hey, bro, just seeing how you're doing, this, that. Oh, by the way, mom had a chest condition, and she took her to the ER, and she's in the hospital. I'm like, I call her up. I'm like, fucking lead with that next time, will you please? Like, lead with the important information. Don't bury it at the end of the message. What's wrong with you? It's the complete opposite of what Beck did.
As far is
your mom okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She spent a couple days in the hospital. They cleared her. Couldn't really kind of identify what the issue was, but she's fine now. Yeah, thanks for asking.
My dad's been in there now for 10 days, 12 days now. He had a trach, and he's been sedated for like a week now, or 10 days. He's going in for surgery tomorrow, so hoping everything's all right.
Yeah, good luck.
Man. Yeah, thoughts are with
you.
Not
to bring the show down, just relating to
did a pretty good job
being in the hospital.
No, one time I'm driving around after getting some lunch, and I get a text message from an unknown, like 5-digit text number that just says, the procedure has begun. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what is texting me, the procedure has begun? And I realize after like 5 minutes, like, oh yeah, this morning I dropped my wife off at the hospital for an operation she was having. They were just letting me know that the operation was, but don't word it like that from a random text number. The procedure has begun. Like, am I part of a secret like list of people the government's trying to get to shelter in time or something?
It's the same day you dropped her off. How are you?
Well, I had a lot on my mind. I just ate Arby's. Could have been related to that.
Oh my God.
Hey, you guys feel like doing some extra programming work, some unpaid programming work? Because you're gonna.
No.
The U.S. Senate unanimously approved a bill to make daylight savings time permanent.
Did they really?
They really did. It still has to go through the House and the President, but it looks like it's going to happen. It looks like starting next year.
Was the bill it's for the entire U.S. or giving the states the permission to do it? Because that's what California is waiting for. It's just permission to do it.
Right.
That didn't answer my question.
As far as I understand it, it gives all states permission to do it. And recommends that states do it.
California passed the bill 2 or 3 years ago saying as soon as the government says it's okay, that
I was gonna say
California
Beck
will
actually
make the change.
reminded me. Yeah, Beck reminded me that we had passed that, and we voted on it too. It was put up for vote. Everybody voted on it, and it passed. And yeah, nothing's actually happened yet. So we'll see.
You know what that means? I can go flying after work more often.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you're
or 3D printing by sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's gonna be work, dude. It's gonna be work for us, like guaranteed.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, it depends. If you're using packages, if you're using libraries that handle your dates for you, like Carbon, I bet there'll be an update to make it easy enough to do it.
Oh, sure. You just have to make sure that update is in place on every system when it, goes out.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, it's not going to sneak up on us.
Well, there's also the fact that our servers are hopefully keeping in time with another time server that will know what the proper time is.
Right. I mean, they should all be on GMT anyways, right?
So I've seen.
No, is that not a thing?
You're funny.
I've seen these arguments against making daylight savings time permanent, and it's a lot of straw man guessing about behavior and stuff like that. The argument for it on paper has a lot of dumb straw man arguments as well, but
it's all
the practical. The practical fact is people don't like the hour behind. They don't like it.
Well, and you already have states that don't do it. They haven't blown.
But they don't do it
up
the
or
other.
fallen off
But
the
they don't do it
PCO.
the other way.
Right,
That's
and
the
they'll stay the
difference.
same. So
No,
Hawaii,
won't.
Arizona,
Wait.
Hawaii.
Wait, let me ask a question.
Mhm.
Are you saying that the permanent time will be an hour behind what we are today?
So currently, states can opt in and be on whatever the normal time is.
Standard
Not daylight savings
Oh.
time, the standard time. So they're not allowed to be on daylight savings time year round. You're allowed to be on standard time year round. So those states or those areas right now are an hour behind us.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Arizona, I know this because my family lived in Arizona. This is when we catch up with them. So we're on the same time as Arizona now. When we fall behind, they don't change their time. So when we fall behind, they have to remember, and we have to remember that we are an hour behind them.
Really? Because that was the whole thing with how we passed that law, or not the law. When we voted in California, it was because the federal government said you're not allowed to stay on daylight savings time.
Arizona's time matches up with ours because they're in a different time zone.
Oh yeah, they're an hour behind us in a time zone.
No,
That's
but
right.
it doesn't matter if they're in a different time zone. Their
Of course
their
it
clocks
does.
don't.
Yeah.
Their clocks
No.
don't change.
Right.
Stop.
That's why they
Right. So
that's why they caught up to us.
We catch up to their time
No, they
zone.
didn't catch up to us. We caught up to them.
Right.
They didn't change. We caught
Right.
up to them.
But right now it is, what is it? It's 9:50 our time right now.
Yes.
It's 9:50 their time. If they wanted to
Right.
be on daylight savings time, they would be 10:50.
Because they're in a different time zone. Oh, hold
So
on.
you're saying that
He's
they,
working it out.
So
Yeah.
no, I get you. So what? Then Nevada should be an hour ahead of us. Then
I'm saying right
Because-
now, Arizona is an hour behind the rest of their time zone. And when this goes in place,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
They're caught up with the rest of their time zone right now.
no,
Tom's
they're
right.
behind. Arizona's behind the rest of their time zone right now. And when this goes into place, Arizona will always be an hour behind its own time zone.
Oh, you're right. Unless they change to always be daylight savings time,
Right.
Because they're allowed to now.
Now, this also applies to Hawaii.
Whew,
Hawaii is
time
already in
zones.
its own time zone, so people don't pay attention to that. You're not
Gotcha.
thinking about what time zone Hawaii is in. It's just the one that's 12 or whatever hours different.
So you're saying if this passes, as we are today, we would roll back an hour. In Arizona would
No, we wouldn't roll back an hour.
We would stay right where we're at.
And Arizona would jump forward an hour.
No, Arizona would stay right where they're at too, but they'd be in the wrong place for their time zone.
Depending on how the wording is in the law. If they're saying,
I can't see how this could be any problems at all for programmers.
Yeah,
if
not sure why I brought it up.
If what Tom is saying is they're saying the entire U.S. is going to daylight savings time, then yes, Arizona's going to jump an hour, and right now it would be 10:50 there.
So from the wording
they're now
in
giving
this article,
if they're giving the states the option to choose whether they keep flopping like they do now or stay in one or the other, then it's going to be wild. It'll be fun.
It's from the wording I'm reading right now. All the states except for Arizona and Hawaii and the various islands like Puerto Rico and Guam and Virgin Islands are the exception to the rule. They would end up on standard time and we would end up on daylight savings time full time.
Why?
Because you get that extra hour.
Most states want the extra hour, but because Arizona or those areas are already, they haven't changed their clock in years, they're like, I guess they get an exception.
Hey man, I really like the extra hour, the late sunset. In Colorado, it's so nice because we have the mountains that cut it hard at 6 o'clock. Like the sun just stops being around at 6 o'clock. So getting that extra hour is very nice. It's not like San Diego where it gradually gets darker. It's like a lights out situation.
I'm just wondering, am I still getting overtime?
Man,
is that
you have never gotten overtime.
About this.
You are not eligible for overtime.
You haven't had overtime in 10 years. Speaking of which, the Dev turns 10 this year.
We turned 10.
And then we're going to kill him.
I got a new tool I really want to try out.
Talked about that. What?
It's called Try. Did you guys see anything about this?
Nope.
I guess there's a similar package for Python. But this tool allows you to test out composer packages. So you just say try and then the name of the composer package, and you end up in a Sci shell that has that package installed on it and automatically uses the,
What?
package.
Is this a composer thing?
It's just a command line tool that somebody wrote.
Why not just bring it in, try out what you want, and then remove it?
Well, because it dumps you to a Sci shell. So it actually...
what's the benefit of that? I need to see stuff in my web page, and I don't understand. What's the benefit of a side shell?
It's Sci shell.
It looks very useful to me. There's a little
he's using Pop! OS, so I mean, right off the bat, the other guy, the person's good.
I mean, Sci shell is the generic PHP equivalent of Laravel, right?
Tinker.
Not Tinker. Tinker in Laravel.
Tinker's actually built on Sci shell.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's the other way around. But yeah, it gives you little access to call things the way you want to, and a little.
So just Composer require it. If you don't like it, reset your Composer JSON file.
Sure, and this is just
here's the thing:
a lightweight.
How are you going to try without installing it?
It's not a Composer package.
There. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
It's not.
It's a global. No, it's a global Composer package. So it goes into your your global composer installs, not your project install.
I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a use case for it, but I'm with John. You just install it. If you don't like it, you require it. You don't like it, you uninstall it. You remove it.
Well, we actually have a policy here of don't touch composer JSON because it'll try and pull.
Doing it locally.
That's why you have your own repo. That's why you fork to your own repo, so you can do shit like that and not have to worry about it.
If you're
Just saying, if we're going to go down this path again, we can, Tom.
But if you're not pushing, it doesn't matter. You're installing it locally to try it, right?
No, I'm running out of tickets. Let's do it.
Then what's the point? So what's the point of doing a try if you're not going to be allowed to put it into Composer JSON at the end of it?
Let's say you get 3 or 4 different packages that do the same thing, but you want to see what the behavioral differences between them are. Then this is a great way to just test out a couple different packages that do the same thing quickly.
No,
you asked, I gave you an answer. Don't give me a sour face.
Don't
drink your green tea here.
I'm not buying that answer though.
You don't have to buy it. I'm not selling it. I didn't write this package. I just said I want to try it out.
I want to try. Okay.
How many stars? 36 stars.
Yeah, it got released today. Don't judge.
Oh yeah, let's jump bad all over that. How many do you guys star repos? I'm just curious. Do you star repos?
I haven't in the past. I haven't done it in a long time.
I'm terrible at it. Like I just don't, and I feel bad now.
Because of Composer, I don't anymore. I don't go to GitHub to download it anymore.
Well, and let's be clear, GitHub is a social media platform as much as any other is. And I'm bad at social media, so I just don't use it the way it's intended.
You're bad
as you can see on my Twitter and Facebook, which are both now just Wordle echo chambers.
I'm sure the star should go away, and it should just be how many repos on GitHub have this package installed. Like how many repos are using it.
There is a tool to look that up, but
yeah.
You seen this RFC about sealed classes? I didn't think it was ever going to get to voting because it's such a weird.
Explain.
So this idea that you can have a final class, right? It restricts, the further implementation of this thing.
Oh, trust me, we've had this huge back and forth on the team lately about somebody wanting everything to be final and other people saying, nope, not everything final. And
I like to hear about this because I have questions about that too.
We'd have to have the person who's defending that because I am against that.
You're against final?
So
I'm against sealed too. Sealed classes let you establish an array of classes that can extend this class. And anything that's not whitelisted explicitly cannot extend this class.
So it's final except for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah. And the voting started on this, which I'm amazed that it got to voting, but it's currently 6-6. And it is just.
Did you share a URL to that?
Yeah, it's at the top of Trello. I'm trying to organize these.
Discord yet.
I don't want to say any idea that's being proposed in PHP RFCs is a dumb idea.
I need to find the mailing list conversations around this.
That's the job of the guy who got banned from the internals this week.
Somebody got banned?
Oh yeah.
Was it Ramsey?
It was some random person. Some random person that was suggesting that we remove all code that was contributed by any Russians ever from PHP internal, and went on a thing about it, and then said, "Lol, you guys can't take a joke." And yeah,
They're like, yeah, you're right. We can't. Bye.
Yeah. Well, like I tell my daughter, the funny thing about jokes is they're usually funny. But yeah, what a useless PR.
So the conversation on our team was one person wanted everything to be final except for what is expected to be extended, and just about everybody else that had an opinion was the other way. No, nothing should be final except for what should not be extended, mostly because we're dealing in a legacy code base, and marking something as final indicates that no, this should not be extended, versus, oh, if you want to extend it, just remove the final keyword.
Yeah, I mean that's always kind of been my thing. It's like,
yeah, but if you can just remove the word, what's the purpose of final? I mean, like,
right.
So the argument against is there's a lot of testing friction that comes about because you can't mock a final class without doing. No, there are packages. You can install packages that will make it work for you. There are ways around it.
Try them first.
I'm currently doing private property mocking on my classes. I totally absolutely know that PHP unit can mock a final class.
I don't think it can mock a final class.
Yeah, well, you have to clone it and then modify it.
Removing the final.
So there's a composer package you can install that makes it a lot easier for you to do that.
Yeah.
But the whole point, we did end up settling on not making everything final. We declared certain circumstances under which things should be final. Enum classes are always final, and a couple of the use cases. That's a good question. I know we do. We have traits that test everything.
In a compiled language, final has like a distinct purpose because you can distribute a compiled library and say, yeah, you can't extend this and do something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But like in PHP, you have access to the source code. You can just remove the word final.
Right. It's meant for libraries. It's a thing for a library to say, no, you're not supposed to extend this. Leave it alone.
Right.
And in library code, final is great. In userland, in our code bases, it's not as impactful. That's where we ended up.
I think final brings no value to a code base.
So the person that wants
on
it,
the size, I could imagine
you bring no value to a code base.
That's true too.
The person that wanted it is a Java developer at heart. Like he wanted.
There you go.
He wanted our class names to end in IMPL for implementation.
What, 2 years experience total?
he wanted class names to be at least 75 characters, otherwise it doesn't count. I mean, Java through and through. So we get it.
Yeah, it's I could imagine in a code base where you've got hundreds of developers, you would want to declare something final, but I don't see a use case for us. I've never seen a use case for it final, let alone special circumstances final, which is just totally unnecessary. But you know what is necessary?
What's necessary?
Our patrons on Patreon.
Patreon.
Look at that beautiful animation.
Speaking of patrons, not that this has anything to do with patrons because they get no special love here. We have a giveaway to get to.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do it.
Does anyone remember how to do this?
Hey, I've actually don't think I've ever seen the interface, John. As far as I know, you're faking this whole thing.
All right. We need a winner for the March Raspberry Pi giveaway. This did end. It is ended. It needs a winner. I'm going to click the button right about now. We will.
I'm watching him and can confirm he did click a button.
Heard a click.
Can I see this person's address to make sure that they qualify? I don't know how to get there. Email does it show into? I don't know how to get more details. The winner is Miguel Gallegos. That's
Gallegos.
Miguel Gallegos. Congratulations.
Sounds like Alabamian to me. I'm sure they're here in the U.S. No problem.
I will be sending you an email shortly to let you know.
Congrats, Miguel.
You don't want to draw a name and then retract it. That killed a whole PC building company last week.
Well, I'm not going to retract it unless they don't qualify. There were rules in place. I can't break the rules. So if you're disqualified for any reason, then I'm sorry. That's the way.
As long as the rules are already in place. There was a PC builder called Artisan Builds that did a live stream where they drew a winner of their newest PC build, and
it was like
she wasn't popular enough on Twitter or on Twitch.
Yeah, if the guy didn't if you didn't have enough followers or if you didn't have enough likes, they were disqualifying you. Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah,
how bizarre is that?
The whole company shut down.
Really?
Yeah. It turns out that the CTO was the clown running the whole thing. They were being investigated. This is all allegedly being investigated for tax fraud, and that the company of I think 150 employees was immediately dismissed a couple days later. Just told, we're not a company anymore. And nobody who had pre-ordered their computer, which started at $3,000, got a refund. So you have to charge back.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, not cool.
Yeah, it's a big blow up. It was not fun.
Man. All right. So do we know if Miguel qualifies, John, or are we going to do another drawing here?
Oh, I don't know for sure because we don't collect addresses. So I'm going to assume yes, unless otherwise I find out. But I am now following Miguel on Twitter.
There you go.
I can tell you that much.
We should all follow him on Twitter. See, everybody log in to John's account, see who he just followed, and then start spamming that person immediately.
I have some anti-doom and gloom if you want to hear it.
What?
There's a touch of gloom in it, but for the most part, companies critical to U.S. national interests will now have to report when they're hacked or pay ransomware, according to new rules approved by Congress. So, if the government decides you are critical infrastructure, which I believe the pandemic taught us all that employees of grocery stores are critical infrastructure, then you have to report when you're hacked. The slight gloominess of this is that the government has no obligation to report this to the public. So this is an interesting one because it gives the government very broad reach to say, hey, you're critical infrastructure. We need to be involved in your internal security now. It doesn't really establish what the government decides is critical infrastructure. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, Elon Musk will still be a rich asshole, so that's a bummer.
What? You just have to attack the man. He didn't even do anything.
Oh, he did a bunch of things this week.
I don't care.
Yeah,
he had another kid, didn't he?
Apparently that was a while ago.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Yeah, his wife, his ex, casually mentioned, oh yeah, we have another kid. Her name's also Crazy. some weird combination of crazy letters. But then she's also dating somebody else, right? Like she's dating like
who the
somebody
kid that
bizarre.
was just born. They moved fast in that family. All right,
Chelsea
I think
Manning.
that's good.
This is the thing. Somebody reported that Grimes is dating Chelsea Manning, which is a bizarre turn.
Okay. Yeah. Chelsea? Who's Chelsea Manning?
Chelsea Manning went to prison after leaking government secrets when she was still working as a man.
An American activist and whistleblower. She is a former United States Army I do remember this. Army soldier who was convicted by court-martial in July of 2013 of violations of the Espionage Act and other offenses. I remember this. All right. Yeah, don't care. Yep.
How do you
Michael Durante's point? Chelsea, not PHP Manning.
How do you join Twitter in 2009 and have 0 tweets? 13 years and no tweets?
Who?
You forget your password and can't log back in.
Then you don't tell people your Twitter handle when you're entering a contest.
Well, you delete all of them a few days ago.
12 and a half years, 0 tweets. That's impressive.
He still has more followers than I do. God damn it.
That is impressive.
All right. I think we're at the end of our rope.
I have
what?
A job for you guys.
You can't take a hint. I have a job for you.
I can.
Refresh our OBS. What the hell?
Next week, we are going to talk about PHP magic. Magic methods and auto-resolving stuff. So today, or late yesterday, Matthias Novak posted a tweet or a blog post about too much magic in PHP. And we sort of brush over like disliking or liking the magic that's in Laravel every once in a while. And how like...
I don't think we ever brush over, but anyway.
Well, 3 weeks ago, we discussed my implementation of a magic model that mocked another model.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to discuss the magic part, and I'd like to hear from Discord how they feel about magic in their PHP code. Since apparently this is a PHP podcast.
Sounds like a good conversation. Which reminds me of somehow a 100 seconds in PHP video came across my YouTube recommendations yesterday or today. Thumbs down to right away because all it did was pointing out the super global arrays like get post. And I was like, stop doing that.
This is a fairly new post too. This is October 22nd of 2021.
Which one?
The PHP in 100 seconds? Is that what you said?
The YouTube video? Yeah.
I just searched it, so I don't know if it's the same one you were talking about.
I think it was. It's the PHP logo in the I'm looking at, and they're going over. I mean, they showed the history of PHP and how it used to stand for personal homepage, but they're showing people how to put PHP within their HTML content using
not a thing we do
get
anymore.
Post. And it's like, that's 20 years old. We don't do that. They do mention that you can use objects, but it's like, no, you don't need to. You just put it in your template. You're good to go.
Yeah, just make a million functions.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is a new video. See, this is the problem, man. This is the problem.
It is. That's why I thumbs downed it right away. I'm like, no, this is not good.
Well, that's the other problem is thumbs downing stuff just doesn't do anything anymore.
Not anymore.
Just on ours.
You've shown yet
I
again
did.
how ineffective PHP is by not even being able to dislike something.
Oh,
All right. Can we wrap it up this time?
Yeah, because I have to go read about my wing. It flies at 24 miles an hour.
Couldn't even get into airplanes. Just had to get into wings.
Yeah.
I don't want to fly. I want to hang off of a wing.
No,
and climb back up again. You said in your Facebook
at 38 kilometers per hour.
Okay, again, you're in America. We don't use that word.
That's why I said 23 and a half, 23.8, I think it might be. Anyway, what?
I don't even.
You said Facebook.
You said in your
said
Facebook
something about
post,
my Facebook post.
You climbed the equivalent, the near equivalent of the Empire State Building, while wearing your whole pack on you.
Yeah. So all the equipment is like 25 pounds. Climbing up, it ended up being 97 stories according to my watch. And the Empire State Building is 102 stories, so it's 5 stories short of climbing the Empire State Building. That's crazy.
So if you're ever wondering what early onset dementia looks like, that's it.
All right, we're done. I got reading to do.
About wings. All right, Eric, you're supposed to do the closing thing.
I've been trying for the last 10 minutes. Apparently I have to wait for permission now. So screw you guys. That's it for episode 200 and whatever billion.
77.
What are we at? No, not 77. 278 of PHPUgly. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I'm almost positive
coming
you
off
said
the top,
277
y'all
at the
know how we
beginning.
do.
No,
check out the video.
Drop a
278.
freestyle
I see
you
it.
can
Check out
cherish.
the video.
I
I'ma
watched it when
send
you
a
first
shout out
posted
to
it.
the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric,
It's
he
funny
stays
'cause it
loud and
looks like he's actually
passionate.
singing
I'm about
our
to break
song.
it down for y'all with the clever song.
It
Yo,
looks
shout
like
to
he, like,
host
ends
named
it at the
Thomas
same
because he's
time and
never
everything.
wrong. And shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause
Let's
a
just say
riot.
this.
I'm about to do it like this because the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the
So here's the
ugly.
thing, he
It's
walks
called
right past
ugly
me
because
and
it's not
turns his back on me
professional.
like
But I'm
bastard.
about to
I'm
come
like,
with
you
the
know
rest
who
of
I
the
am?
style. So let's do it
You
when
know
I'm
who
spitting.
I
I
am.
perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the
You
show
ain't
is
trying to give
called
us a
Doom and
stick? You
Gloom.
said
That
you're
came
taking
from
an ugly
Thomas.
stick with you.
Yeah,
Oh,
can
dude.
nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about
It
to
was
keep it
so
like a
happy.
promise.
He-
Yeah, and y'all know we fill
you
them
hung
up with
around,
anguish. We talking about the
would, you know,
PHP, the
he had a whole
programming
movie.
language. About to break it down,
But it
no
was like some of these
exaggeration.
people
What do y'all do for a living?
have
Web
things to do, man.
applications. Okay,
Told you,
I
I'm
can
not
dig it.
saying
My
anything.
words very tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
Took my harness and hooked it up to my kid's swing set, and Nolan immediately climbed up in it. I'm like, stay there. I went inside to get my phone because I left it inside. I want to take a picture, and he was all like buckled in, but it wasn't like pulled tight on him. I'm like, just stay there. I don't want you tipping forward and falling out of this thing because it's just hanging there. I'm inside getting my phone. All of a sudden, he comes running in behind me. Hey, Dad. I know you're getting your phone. I know you're getting your phone to take my picture, and I don't want my picture taken. I'm like, ah, stop it.
Oh boy.
I think Joe
Fucking
Ferguson
kids.
has the title. I need to look at it again. VI titles. A touch of gloom.
You know, we didn't talk about the Google Analytics thing, but I don't know how much of us actually care that Google's shutting down the global analytics system.
What? Really? I don't know what the difference is between that and other analytics.
Analytics 3 is the version they're sunsetting. Sorry, not global, universal analytics. I don't know what the difference is either. I mean, we're not analytics people.
I try to be, but I'm not good at it. And so 10 years ago when I was still at bowlingball.com, or just prior to 10 years ago, I was the analytics person, like needing to track that between analytics and AdWords. And then I moved on from that. And when I got back into it, when we got PHP Architect, I was like, holy shit, everything's changed. Like it's so different. And now you're telling me they're changing again. Now I'm so confused.
Discord really needs a poll system, a way to do polls. They don't even have number emojis.
What? Yes, they do.
Where? I don't see them. I'm trying to find numbered emojis. I don't see them.
Is it a boosted feature?
Maybe. You know, I'll just do these funky what are they these signs. We're gonna do this one and this. See that? Oh, god damn it! So this should be a piece. Boom. And then I need one for Joe. See this is stupid. Why can't they just have freaking numbers?
Hold on.
What?
What are you talking about?
There's some way of doing it.
I'm looking.
Doing what? What did I miss?
So you put emojis down next to the things you want people to vote on, and people are supposed to click on those emojis for when they want to vote on. In Slack, you have numbers. You can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, but apparently that's not a thing here. No. So this I got you here. So let's do.
I like time flies when talking DST. Just that's it.
Pizza.
That's it.
All right. So I can do pizza.
It's been changed. No, it's been decided. Time flies when talking DST.
And then I guess thumbs up is time flies when you're talking PST because that's it.
There's not even a poll bot.
I looked. I didn't find it. I didn't find one.
Oh.
All right. There. So, Champ, you got a head start on everybody because yours is the most obvious and everybody just started doing thumbs up. So, all right, give me a title, people. Time flies. If it's time flies, then see, I should do another one of you, John, chasing a clock or something.
Why's it got to be me?
Because you're the only idiot in between the three of us willing to jump off a cliff.
I gotta get a beer.
Whee!
Oh, I can't wait to do it again tomorrow. I'm on the verge of sickness. My whole family's been sick for the past week. And I'm hoping I'm not sick because I'm supposed to fly tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, no, don't let it be true.
Oh, thank you, John.
And I just got all my
under simples category. God damn it!
I just got all my new gear. I want to go out and try that.
I guess. How come when I did one before? Oh, I was. Oh, god damn it! Discord. Okay, I see them now. Thank you, sir. Well, time flies is running away with it, so we'll just go ahead and keep it as time flies. But I will remember that for next week. I do appreciate that. Much better episode with Tom not sloshed. Thank you, Roger.
Next week, I will try to mention full frontal, and then that could be the title. John takes a full frontal.
All right.
Tell us about this wing.
What do you want to know about it? It's awesome. It flies at 38 kilometers per hour.
What is it called?
It's the Flow Cosmos.
Oh, I forgot paragliding was different than hang gliding.
I didn't tell you. Tom, do you follow my wife on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
She's got a new tattoo. I saw that just before our show.
That's why I was almost late. We were down in San Diego. She's getting some new ink.
Are those calla lilies? I just realized that.
Yeah, that was our wedding flower. It's a funny.
That was ours too.
Really? Yeah. So it was funny because when we were planning our wedding, they talked about flowers. I'm like, I'd love to have calla lilies, and my wife was like, "Those are for funerals." I'm like, it's kind of the same thing.
They are.
No, they're not.
And we still got married.
That was our wedding flower too, so it's not for funerals. What are you talking about?
So that's why she got it, because our wedding anniversary is coming up.
Why'd she post a picture of Princess Diana though?
That's her, dummy. That's her and I.
That's not you.
That's me, brother.
No, that's
much
not
younger, much better looking me.
That man clearly has 2 testicles.
Yes, he did.
I can tell from the picture. I've gotten good. I've been practicing with John's pictures. See how many testicles I can count. That's very. I like the watercolor style.
Mm-hmm. It looks good. That was her. She added that. The artist, the tattoo artist, showed her the image they had, and she's like, "I would love some blue in there," because blue was kind of our wedding colors. That's what her bridesmaids wore. You see her ribbons blue. You see one of the dresses behind me. But so yeah, it's a lighter blue, but it looks so good. So, yep, more ink for the wife.
So, John, did you get the hat too?
What hat? What are you talking about?
The Flow Paragliders hat?
No, I got a different hat.
You're not gonna be one of those guys that's like, yeah, I do extreme sport, but right now I'm at Starbucks.
Now I got to see what you're talking about.
That was pretty funny.
Come out on the flowparagliders.com.au.
Yeah, it's an Australian company. You probably never heard of it. They're the leaders in extreme sports.
Where do you see this at? What are you talking about?
It's under scope of delivery for the Cosmos, where it says what they send you. They give you the bag, the hat, the lanyard or something.
No, that's a speed bar.
I'm sorry. The speed bar.
The speed bar.
Yeah, I got an extra lightweight speed bar so I can get up to 39 kilometers an hour. Oh, kilometers? It's what everyone else uses. We don't use it in America.
Yeah, you're about right. You don't get that much more speed. You get just enough to get you cutting through the air so you can get to the next thermal. I have not used it yet. I cannot wait to try it though.
One more. What else did we talk about today?
Dude, I've been nailing.
I got a whole list. Would you like to know what's on my list?
Do it again. You know, if you put it in Dropbox, I can add it to my script when it builds my show notes.
Oh. Well, I don't have timestamps at that point, so no.
Oh, wow. Gotcha. Wow, you go back and look, huh?
I have to go back and find these points and find the timestamp.
So we didn't even talk about that. I wanted to give you credit if you're still hanging out with us. The last 2 episodes of PHPUgly, if you go back to YouTube, John has been going through and marking chapters.
I saw that.
Timestamps. That is very cool.
I did it a couple weeks ago. I'm like, this is going to be my thing. I want to see how long it takes people to notice. And you notice pretty quick. Last week.
I'm glad that you did it after I started drinking before the show. Having the category where
Tom falls asleep.
Tom slurs unresponsibly for 10 minutes.
Tom falls asleep again.
Tom pees again. Tom gets up and pees.
We're gonna play Where's Tom?
All right, what did
I have you guys worried with St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, I was bracing. I was bracing for it. I'll be honest.
Hey, fellas.
I'll be completely honest with you.
Who's feeling green tonight? I hate the drinking holidays. They ruin perfectly good bars.
So how have you felt the past 2 weeks?
Oh, good. It's teenagers, man. 3 of them. Like, only one of them can be doing well at any given time. As soon as one of them is doing well, the other 2 just fall off a fucking cliff. No offense. It's rough, man.
So too soon for that. Oftentimes you say heart attack. Too soon for that. Combine those 2 things. I'm trying to get life insurance right now, and life insurance companies are like, "Fuck you, get out of here."
I'm sorry, your life is just too cool for life
Who do
insurance.
you think you are? Like, you ain't got a chance in hell. Get away from us.
I told you in my interview, they specifically asked me if I'm a paraglider. I'm like, what? What the hell? That's on the list?
Well,
yeah.
So it wasn't specifically. I mean, they went through like a ton of different sports. So I'm wondering if your interview was linked to mine somehow, and they're like, "Well, he does this. Do you do that?" But that would be weird.
Yeah. For some reason, they had paragliding right after competitive heroin use.
I was waiting for the "Do you drive a motorcycle?" question, which never came. The cancer question came. We knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to disclose that, but I actually disclosed it even before they asked it. So I was actually proud of myself there.
So do you have your appointment set for the medical person to come out?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Mine's juggle
Monday.
Yours is when?
Monday. Next Monday.
I think mine is. I don't know when mine is now. I forget what they told me. Couldn't have been that important. Not Monday, not Tuesday,
on
obviously.
that side too.
Wednesday. Mine's Wednesday. Mine is Wednesday.
Bruises all over the place.
Did you guys watch Spider-Man yet?
No.
I did. It was good. It was good, yeah. There were so many little, just, you definitely had to watch all the Spider-Mans to really appreciate it.
Yeah, and like there's these tiny references.
I would love a wingsuit.
There's Tobey Maguire starts talking to Andrew Garfield and says, "Man, you're amazing. You're just amazing." And I was like, he said the thing. He's the amazing Spider-Man.
That's what I told Beck. I'm like, that's funny because he was in the Sony properties. He was the amazing Spider-Man. That was a different kind of franchise than just Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's I watched it with a buddy of mine who's also very, very critical of movies. And so we had a lot of fun constantly yelling, "Say the line, Bart. Say the line, Bart. Say the line, Bart." There's so many subtle like references or not subtle references to the previous Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Just these little digs. It
was good.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed it.
I was surprised with some of the decisions that were made.
That's something that they won't ever be able to do again. And see, they're smart because the Flashpoint's coming out and they're kind of doing something similar in Flashpoint. So they were smart to do it first, because now it just looks like Warner Brothers is copying what they did, copying their formula.
Eric, did your girls do leprechaun traps for St. Patty's Day?
Negative.
I think that's a newer thing.
Yeah, I think that goes along with the elf on the shelf stuff.
So last night, I go into the kids' room. So I help them set up this. I have to build off of whatever they decide they want to do. So my older son,
for the next 20 years.
Yeah, my older son finds like this shelf rod that I have. So the opening's like this big, and he's like, the leprechaun is really small. So then he puts up paper barriers, and he's funneling the leprechaun into this little closet shelf rod. He's going to run all the way to the end, and then he puts a piece of tape at the end that the elf is going to get stuck to. And that's only after the fact that we said, no, you can't just put tape all over your floor expecting the elf to go in and step on the tape and get stuck.
Put a little tiny severed foot down there, just freak the kid out.
so it
looks like
better.
The tape was too strong, buddy.
Because I have the two kids. It's like, so Grayson's thing was he's going to go through and get stuck on this tape, and we're like, I need Nolan to have something to do. So I'm like, well, what happens if he gets through the tape? So now Nolan has been way into dominoes lately. So I help him set up this domino thing that the elf is going to go through this thing, but going so fast, he hits this first domino. Dominoes go around, climb up these little steps, and then knock this box that's supposed to fall on top of the leprechaun to trap him in there. So
God.
So we get this all set up before bed. As you know, I go and take him right around now, take my older son to go to the restroom before the rest of the night, put him back to bed. I go back in 10 or 15 minutes later. Unfortunately, he's sick as a dog right now. So I look over, I got video of this on my cameras because I have 17 cameras in there. I look, he's asleep. So I get down there, I'm trying to like cut out the tape to make it look like the leprechaun burst through the thing. And then I'm like, okay, couldn't really get there, but I'm going to start setting these dominoes down. I don't want to knock them down because I don't want the noise. So I start pushing them over. One slips, hits the rest. They all fall. I'm like, oh shit. I go to run out of the room. I get to the door and I hear my son, Daddy.
You get trapped in tape.
He sits up, he goes, Daddy, what are you doing? I'm like, so I'm showing my wife the video of me walking back in, trying to hide the knife in my hand. I'm like, hey buddy, I was just trying to check on you and I accidentally knocked it over, but don't worry, I'm going to set it back up.
The Shining 2.
Exactly.
Don't worry, Daddy. I'm just fixing the leprechaun trap. You need to calm down, buddy.
So on the video, you see me tell him that. I walk away and I walk over like I'm going to start putting the trap back together. Like, please go back to sleep. I want to get out of here. And then I'm like, fuck it. It's good enough. I just walk out.
Just start
out of the year right there.
Now I'm waiting for him to realize that the dominoes went down the stairs instead of up the stairs, but luckily they tore it all apart before they realized it.
Yeah. Little bastard came from the wrong direction. I had to stab him.
He was drunk, you see.
Don't go in the backyard for a while. I've got it on 12 camera angles.
Well, that's the other part. Tonight we go in there. He's getting more and more sufficient or whatever on the iPad. All of a sudden I'm like, we have a camera outside looking in a bird's nest. So he's looking through the videos on the bird's nest, and like we find the point in time where the birds have hatched. It's like, oh, look, here's a video where mama bird is feeding the babies. I'm like, shit, how do I get rid of the videos from last night? Because now he's going to go to the other camera and start searching through. Oh, wait, maybe I got the leprechaun on camera. Luckily, he hasn't put that together yet, but
Yeah, tell them just leprechauns. They disrupt cameras. You have to use film.
No, buddy, that was me putting it back together, and we missed the part where he knocked it down.
Yeah, and I had
Daddy,
the
why
knife
do you
in
have a
case it was
knife?
one of those bad leprechauns.
From the Leprechaun movie.
Yeah. All the kids have seen Leprechaun in Space.
All right. I have to go take my kid to the restroom. I have to email our winner. I got stuff to do, and I got to get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, email our winner. Tell them the bad news.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for